Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony of the Georgia Veterans Education Career Transition Resource Center, or VECTR. Before we begin today's ceremony, I would ask you please to silence any electronic devices. Please rise for the posting of the colors by the Robins Air Force Base Color Guard, the singing of the national anthem by Miss Warner Robins, Lindsay Richardson, and the invocation by Mayor Randy Toms. Post the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for who you are. I thank you for this wonderful day that you provided for us to celebrate this incredible center of learning. I thank you for everybody that is here present today, that you would bless them by the opening of this Veterans Training Center, and that you would give them such a wonderful day of being a part of such a great partnership. I thank you for the leadership here at the center, and I pray that you would bless them with the wisdom that can only come from you. I pray for every student, every person that will come through the doors of these buildings, that they will turn out to be everything that you created them to be. I thank you again for all of the leadership, all of the people that made decisions to make this happen, and I pray that this would be even more than any of us could ever imagine. And I pray that it would all bring glory and honor to you. Again, I thank you, and I pray that you would bless us and cause us to be a blessing to you. For it's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Robins Air Force Base Honor Guard. Our brand new Miss Warner Robins, Lindsay Richardson. and Mayor Toms. Didn't they do an outstanding job? We have many distinguished guests here today, and while each and every one of you deserves individual recognition, I know everyone is really here to see the VECTR Center and was promised a brief ceremony. So if I could, I would like to recognize our distinguished visitors in groups and would ask for the audience to hold their applause until I reach the end of each group. Our state representatives, Congressman Sanford Bishop and his team, representing Senator Johnny Isakson, Andrew Ross, representing Senator David Perdue, Mr. Andrew Seaver, and representing Congressman Austin Scott, Donovan Head. Members of the Georgia General Assembly, Senator David Lucas, Senator Frank Ginn, Senator John F. Kennedy, Senator Larry Walker III, Representative Bubber Epps, Representative Buddy Hardin, Representative Robert Dickey, Representative Heath Clark, and Representative Shaw Blackman. Our local elected officials from the city of Warner Robins, who so graciously donated the 44 acres on which this center sits, Mayor Randy Toms, City of Perry Mayor Jimmy Faircloth, and Mayor John Harley from the city of Centerville. The two partners in this first-of-a-kind venture, the University System of Georgia, Chancellor Hank Huckabee, the Board of Regents, and members of the system's leadership team, and the Technical College System of Georgia, Commissioner Gretchen Corbin, members of the State Board, and system leadership. The institution responsible for administrative and operational control of the VECTR Center, Middle Georgia State University, its president, Dr. Christopher Blake, the University Foundation, and members of the MGA team, and the other local partner institution, Central Georgia Technical College, its president, Dr. Ivan Allen, the College Foundation, and members of the CGTC team. Colleagues in this endeavor, the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Veterans Services, Mike Roby, members of his leadership team, and the Georgia Veterans Service Board and other veteran service organizations. And the team that made this building a reality, JMA Architecture, Paramore Quinn, the Georgia State Finance and Investment Commission, and Parish Construction. Robins Air Force Base leadership, Colonel Sarah Christ, Vice Commander of the 78th Air Base Wing, Mr. Jeffrey Pennington, Headquarters Air Force Reserve Command Director of Staff, and Miss Bonnie Jones, Civilian Leader of the 638th Supply Chain Management Group. And most importantly, the reason we're all here. If I could ask those that are currently serving or have previously served in the Armed Forces of the United States to please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your service. I've been asked to tell you a little bit about the facility. It's 32,000 square feet, has 10 classrooms, which include 2 computer classrooms, 2 active learning classrooms, and 2 industrial classrooms. It has 2 industrial labs and a testing center. We host 2 veteran service officers from the Georgia Department of Veteran Services, representatives from Central Georgia Technical College and Middle Georgia State University, and include a small time staff from VECTR Center. We'll be responsible for helping veterans and their families navigate the 51 public institutions of higher education in the state of Georgia, providing career coaching, educational, and financial aid guidance. VECTR hosts on-site courses from both Middle Georgia State University and Central Georgia Technical College. And through collaborative efforts with other federal, state, and community partners, we help link veterans and their families to other resources in support of education and training. And while you may immediately notice the artwork when you enter the main building, our core value wall, what you may not realize is down that front hallway, which we call our streetscape, in the darker terrazzo tile, it's actually Morse code, and it spells out the word integrity. It's an amazing building specifically created for a group of men and women who truly need the services we have to offer. Transition from the military is so difficult for many of our servicemen and women. We spend 9 to 82 weeks training them to be soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen for their initial career field and in basic training, but then spend only a week transitioning them to the civilian workforce. This center is an incredible and tangible demonstration of how much Georgia values its military personnel. Here to share more about what this center aims to accomplish are our distinguished speakers. Dr. Ivan Allen has served as president of Central Georgia Technical College since 2012. One of the largest two-year colleges in the state, CGTC serves over 30,000 individuals annually with academics, economic development services, and adult education and GED programs. Dr. Allen.
Good morning. This is a proud day for one of the greatest states in this union. For 18 months ago, perhaps a little bit more, we stood in an empty field with the sun beaming down, and we made a promise. I was there alongside of many leaders of this state. We stood shoulder to shoulder with Dr. Blake and his team from Middle Georgia State, Chancellor Huckabee, and the leadership of TCSG. And we said we would fulfill Lincoln's promise that never would those who have served us by land, by sea, or by air, never would they be left behind in this great state. And I give to you today a center that will help us fulfill that promise. And I say to every partner in this room, job well done. And now, rather than belabor the points that I came to make, I'll turn it over to my boss. That's always smart. Before I do that, I do want to say one thing to our IT staff, to the IT staff at Middle Georgia State, to the maintenance folks, to the buildings and grounds people, to the custodians. Thank you for your service. Sometimes we forget to stop and say thank you. And so to those of you seated along this front row, those of you throughout this tent who work at both institutions, who came up here sometimes after midnight to be sure this day would be possible. You work long and hard because you too honor those who have provided the very blanket of security under which we rest at night. So thank you to your team. And now it is time for us to call to this microphone a leader in Georgia, one who has crisscrossed the globe to make Georgia one of the best places in the world and truly the best place in the United States to do business. It is our great commissioner who leads our institutions and contributes so much to the workforce and the economy of our state. She has given much of her time as a commissioner formerly with DCA, but now I've come to know, appreciate, respect, and admire what she gives to Georgia by way of her service through TCSG. Please continue to always put students first, as you always have. Help me call my boss, the commissioner of Georgia's economic engine, Gretchen Corbin.
I think he's so great to make me look so bad, don't you? I mean, who wants to go after Ivan Allen? Not me. Mr. Chancellor, I'm going to call you up and then I'll go after you. Dr. Allen, thank you so much for everything that you have done for today and for that introduction. And that is why the Technical College System of Georgia is so fabulous. Presidents like Dr. Allen, his team members that make Georgia work. Thank you so much, Dr. Allen, to each and every one of you and your team. Good morning. And let me just say how proud I am to be here on behalf of the Technical College System of Georgia. On behalf of Governor Dill, on behalf of our state board who is with us today, on behalf of our entire team at the Technical College System of Georgia, inside our system office, inside our colleges, thank you for everything you have done to make today possible. From the direction of the legislators, and may I just say, unless you are at the Capitol, you don't see legislators out like this today. I've noticed how the Senate is on one side and the House is on the other. Very appropriate. Congressman, this is how we work in Georgia, as you know. And may I just say that we know as a system and through the partnership of the University System of Georgia and the direction that each and every one of you and Governor Dill provides the two of us, that we are in good hands. It's easy to do our job when you have the champion, when you have the leadership, when you have the direction, and when you have the budgeting of this great General Assembly. So to each of you who are here now, and to those of you who have been with us and have had the sight and the vision to provide for this center, thanks to each and every one of you in our great capital. Thank you so very much. And this really is about the individuals that this building is made for. This is for the purpose of providing the best educational and training environment possible for our military members in the state of Georgia. Those who are active and those who are coming out of the military. Georgia wants to be there for all of our servicemen and women. At the Technical College System of Georgia, our primary purpose is workforce development, jobs for Georgians, and creating an incredible workforce development base for our Georgia companies. And we know, General, that when we think of Georgia companies, our military establishments are our greatest companies. Congressman, thank you for your leadership in making sure that our military establishments continue to be strong under the leadership of such great direction and such great vision of the great generals that are here in Warner Robin and around our state in our installations. We very much appreciate that. In serving, in 2016, during our academic year, our 22 colleges served over 8,100 military students and their families. We like to make sure that when our students will come in here, they will know of the services of the Technical College System as well as the university system, that they will receive training here, and that when they go out throughout the state, they will be ready to be taken care of within their educational needs. And we can do this through any of our colleges and our 85 campuses. We are continuously looking for ways to assist and serve our veteran population. And so we make sure that when a member of the military comes to our college, and I know, Chancellor, you're going to have to say, Gretchen, you shouldn't have said that. We do it too, because this great university system does it too. Whenever we can provide credit for training that you have already received in the military, we are going to make sure that you receive that credit. We want to make sure that your educational credit is a great reflection of the service and the training you have provided while in the military. We also make sure that we have agreements. As you know, the SARA is especially beneficial to active duty members to make sure that if any military student in any branch of the military is enrolled in a program that can be delivered through distance education and that member is transferred, including their families, we will provide continuation of their studies in any different state without them having to worry about any of the headaches that might take place with paperwork, that might take place with finances, we are going to make it happen in Georgia. We are proud to be 41 of 50 states as members of SARA. We participate in green zone training. We want to make sure that our system is ready to receive our military members. And we support and are continuing of support of our service members past and present. We have provided a unique set of financial opportunities. For distinguished award recipients like the Purple Heart, the Medal of Honor, or Distinguished Service Cross, our institutions have the option to exempt up to 36 months of tuition and fees. And we know that certain mandatory fees are exempt for all active duty service members and Georgia National Guard combat veterans. So what this means, these great legislators who have provided the financing possible for our technical college system, for our university system, we want to make sure that we meet what they are doing for all of our service members. And so if ever you need assistance, the Technical College System of Georgia is here for you. And knowing that you have given so much to protect our great nation, we are proud to be a part of this additional layer of support and assistance, directly serving our veterans from this great new facility. Working in direct partnership with the University System of Georgia through the strong partnership of Central Georgia Technical College and Middle Georgia State University, we are proud to partner here in VECTR. And can I just say, when you think about making something work, it always goes back to relationships. It always goes back to planning, and it always goes back to implementation. To our great representatives and our senators, you have said to the technical college system and the university system, we have faith in you. Go do this for our servicemen and women. We feel that we have brought the best team on board. With Dr. Blake and that with the partnership of Dr. Allen, you've got an incredible technical college and university system representative that is forging the challenge and is implementing. And then she wasn't properly introduced, but Colonel Ross, who will serve as the director of VECTR, was not only a colonel at Warner Robins Air Force Base, but also served as the Technical College System of Georgia's first director of military service and veteran services, and now is employed by the University System of Georgia through this university to make sure that the VECTR Center is the top center for our military in the complete United States of America. So Dr. Ross, or Colonel Ross, thank you for your leadership and your implementation. Again, on behalf of Governor Dill and the Technical College System of Georgia, congratulations to everyone, and we look very forward to being a long-term partnership in this great VECTR Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen and Commissioner Corbin. Dr. Christopher Blake became the first permanent president of Middle Georgia State University in January 2014, and also led the college to university status in July of 2015, obtaining approval for 4 new graduate programs, 2 launched last year, and 2 more to come this year. Home to the only 4-year public aviation school in the state, 10 NAIA college athletic teams, and now the Georgia VECTR Center. Middle Georgia State University serves more than 7,600 students in the region and beyond. Dr. Blake.
Colonel Ross, good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues, community leaders, students, members of the armed services, and veterans. Welcome to what is a truly happy day, and one that I believe will launch us in a way, in a VECTR direction, if you like, that's going to be transformational. We often experience lives, most of us, I believe, in our public lives, our professional lives, our personal lives, often in silos where, you know, one experience doesn't relate to the other. I'm proud that President Allen spoke so eloquently about the fact that this breaks down silos. This is an experience where two institutions will work within their systems, but also collaborate in a partnership where the silo is history, where this really is an opportunity to share the strength, the resources, the ideas, the intellectual capital, and the strength of a community in a way that is rarely actualized in our lives and our systems. And education, of course, does that, because education is about always breaking down silos and boxes. It's always about connecting to new experiences and insights. I'm just proud that as the leader of Middle Georgia State, I can say that we have a team that understands something, that a university is not a top-down, trickle-down way of sharing knowledge and skills. It doesn't mean that somebody has all the expertise and somebody else needs it. It celebrates something very different, that a university and a college is a place where you have a community of learners, that actually we can learn from our colleagues, from our students, from the community, from the parents, from everyone. And in this center, we say something even more distinctive. We say that the people, the men and women that have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Services and are now veterans, they can also help teach us. They can bring knowledge and values and skills, and they can develop those in readiness for serving society and the community in a new way. That is a truly different idea of teaching. It's that teaching and learning is a shared enterprise. And we need that. And the reason I believe we need it, and these are my final comments, are that we live in a dangerous and difficult world of rapid change. Chancellor Huckabee, when I was interviewed, used the phrase, the new normal. And by that, what he meant was that the universities are going through extraordinary exponential challenges and changes, and that we need to embrace and celebrate that, not be scared of it and run from it. If we run from it, it'll overtake us and we will be in a state of chaos. If we embrace it, there will be order, there will be purpose, there will be progress. I like to think, I study a bit of science occasionally, that something called entropy, second law of thermodynamics, that says everything goes to chaos. I like to think that we can, as the human family, beat that occasionally. That we can take chaos and we can create something good. We can create order. We can create purpose. And I want to finish with a quote from a great American and Western leader, and a person of extraordinary military significance, President and former General Dwight D. Eisenhower, who, by the way, 100 years ago this month, was a young officer down on the Mexican border with the Mexican campaign beginning to become increasingly a point of tension. And Dwight D. Eisenhower went on a year later to be in the hell that was Flanders in the World War I, and then went on, of course, to lead the Western Allies as the Supreme Commander of World War II. He understood about chaos. He understood what happens when human strength is used for evil, when might trumps right, when ego leads and caring and love gets lost. He understood because he lived a life and had to work through an environment where constantly he was struggling against those forces. And one of his speeches, he said at the end of his life, this world of ours must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate, and be instead a proud confederation of mutual trust and respect. This center is going to live up to Dwight D. Eisenhower's vision, and we're going to do it in partnership with Central Georgia Technical College. Thank you so much for being here. I really think I'll ask Colonel Ross to introduce the Chancellor, because I couldn't introduce my boss as well as President Allen did his boss. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Blake. In May of 2011, the Board of Regents selected Chancellor Huckabee as the university system's 12th chancellor. He oversees 29 public colleges and universities, overseeing 300,000 students. Chancellor Huckabee was a teacher and an administrator in the university system and has additionally taught at private colleges and universities. He has also served in the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget, as the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, and the Executive Director of the Georgia Residential Finance Authority. Chancellor Huckabee.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much for that overly generous introduction. Much of what I plan to say has already been said, so I will just ditto what Gretchen said. But I do hope that you don't underestimate the significance of this facility. Since I've been chancellor and with her former commissioner of TCSG and with Gretchen's leadership, we have worked extremely well and collaborated together. But this is the first time that we have worked together on a facility. And it's sort of like trying to help your wife pick out what curtains should be where and what knobs should be on the cabinets. It's hard work, but we've had excellent staffs who have brought together the needs and programs of the two systems together in one facility. I think if there's any doubt remaining about how committed the state of Georgia is to our veterans now or those who are still serving, this facility should erase any of that concern. I hope you also don't underestimate that things of this quality and this importance don't just happen. We had an idea. It was not just to be nice and be good, but it was an idea born out of the idea that it's the right thing to do. I remember very vividly working with then my good friend Judge O'Neill in the legislature of how do we bring this idea to fruition. We had many discussions, quite frankly, on where it ought to be sited. I had one idea, he had another idea, and guess who won? But it's where it is not of all that much significance. But what it's meant to do, meant to be to our citizens all over the state, not just here in the Warner Robins, its future. I must tell you that our Director of Military Affairs, which we established 3 years ago, Dr. David Snow, is in the hospital and cannot be with us today, and he sends his regrets. The significance of David, though, is he was actually born in Warner Robins when his father was stationed here. And he retired as a naval officer, and we hired him to run our program. We're very proud of what we're now doing. At 26 of our institutions, we have dedicated space, veteran centers, that will do on a micro level what we're attempting to do here. To have a place to come and help them and allow us to help them cut through the bureaucracy of higher education, whether it's in the technical college system or in our system. So it's a great day, it's a significant day, and we are proud. Quite frankly, I'm so impressed by how many people are here to witness this occasion. We look forward to great things transpiring here. I think the support of the legislature. We will need some money to operate this facility, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure that will be provided. But I thank the support of the Board of Regents. Regent Walker leaned over to me a while ago. They was going through various jobs that I had in state government. I think throughout all of those, our careers are pretty well matched up. I've known Larry Walker for a very long time, especially when he was a leader in the Georgia House. But thank you for being here. Congratulations to all who've had a part in bringing this facility about. And we know that the good news is just beginning, and that we will continue to serve our veterans in the way that they deserve to be served. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Huckabee. Regent Larry Walker has dedicated the vast majority of his life to public service. In addition to practicing law in Houston County for 50 years, he served 32 years in the Georgia General Assembly. For 16 of those years, he was House Majority Leader. A longtime supporter and visionary for higher education in Middle Georgia, he currently sits as an at-large member of the Board of Regents for the University System of Georgia. And here to introduce our keynote speaker, Regent Walker.
Thank you very much. With all the sincerity that I can muster, and General McMahon say, well, that's not very much. But seriously, it's a great pleasure for me today to introduce Larry O'Neill, who I think is the man, if you had to pick one person out of so many that have contributed, that have made this possible. I think it's fitting and proper and most appropriate that Larry O'Neill is our speaker. Many people, as I have said, and institutions have brought us to this place for celebration today. Number one, let's not forget our governor, Nathan Deal. It's been my experience that if the governor's not for it, it usually doesn't happen. So I would say that Governor Deal deserves a lot of credit for what has happened today. The state legislature, and especially the Middle Georgia legislative delegation, the Board of Regents, Technical Colleges of Georgia, Houston County, the commissioners, the city of Warner Robins. Again, it's been my experience that for this to happen, some person had to spearhead, ramrod, hold together, and get all of those working together, because anyone in this group could have killed this project. Larry O'Neill was that man. He got the money. He held on to the money. He got the land. He got the job done. It's fitting and proper and appropriate that Larry O'Neill is our speaker. More than any other person, this is his project. Again, it's my pleasure to introduce as our speaker a tireless worker, a person who brings people together, a person who knows how to get the job done, a person who does get the job done, a great Houston Countyan, a great Georgian, my friend, Larry O'Neill.
Never start off a speech with wow, but Larry, thank you. That's the kindest introduction I think I ever had. It almost makes me want to go back into politics, but it doesn't. But let me take this opportunity to thank you too, Larry Walker, for your decades of public service to this state and to this country. What a golden asset you've been to the state of Georgia your entire adult lifetime, and I value your friendship more than words will ever let me articulate to you. Chancellor Huckabee, Commissioner Corbin, President Blake, President Allen, elected officials and friends here, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Today is an awesome day for the state of Georgia, and the occasion we're here to celebrate is certainly an auspicious one. We're here for the official opening of this beautiful facility that will house the state of Georgia's Veterans Education Career Transition Resource Center, now known as VECTR. Thank goodness that's a lot easier to say. This truly is a very proud day for our great state because, to my knowledge, this is the first and only comprehensive Veterans Resource Center of its kind in the entire world, right here. We feel especially fortunate that this facility is right here in the shadow of our beloved Robins Air Force Base. This is a place where our veterans will come get equivalent civilian credit for their military training and further training in their many fields of expertise. Veterans and their dependents will be able to access all sorts of critical resources here, like healthcare, veterans benefits, job training, job placement, and the list goes on and on. In short, they will become job ready to re-enter the private sector and live the remainder of their lives in the land of the free, which is that way largely due to their service and those that served before them. Many great Americans will come here that have stood between all of us in harm's way. It seems to me that the absolute least we should do for these brave heroes is stand now shoulder to shoulder with them when they finally do come home to enjoy the fruits of their sacrifices in this great land of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, this day didn't just dawn without an incredible amount of hard work, vision, inspiration, and cooperation by so many people. I want to thank everyone that had anything to do with getting us to this day. I want to thank a few by name that I personally know had a great deal to do with the success we celebrate today, knowing, unfortunately, that I'm leaving out many of those worthy of recognition, and for that I want to apologize to them in advance. First of all, like Larry said, thanks to our Governor Nathan Deal. This project was actually the idea of his administration and was part of his proposed budget. The legislators here can certainly vouch for the fact that having a project in the governor's budget is a whole lot easier to pass than one that's not already in his budget, and you got to get it in there from somewhere else. I want to thank the people, Jim Meserly and his team over at JMA Architects. What an incredible design job y'all did here. It was like I visited the future. It was for me coming back today, seeing a movie of the future. Jim and the folks at JMA, thank you so much. My good friend Dave Sear and all the great folks at Paris Construction Company. Again, an incredible job well done by your folks. And thanks over and over again, we can't say this enough, to the city of Warner Robins, mayor and all your council and everybody there for the incredibly generous donation of the 40 some odd acres that are here that represent the future of the state of Georgia and its veterans right here. Thanks to the city of Warner Robins for stepping up as you always do. And thanks to Houston County for the donation of all the in-kind services from that government. Y'all, what an amazing partnership of so many different levels of government is represented right here. We should be so proud of that. It's unbelievable, frankly, in today's day and time with as many prejudices as there are. I want to thank Commissioner Corbin and Chancellor Huckabee collectively and individually for their steady leadership throughout the development of this facility. These two great statewide leaders not only combined, but redoubled the efforts of two of the largest and frankly, heretofore pretty independent state agencies, namely the Technical College System of Georgia and the University System of Georgia, into an incredibly cooperative joint effort that is, to my knowledge, unprecedented in this state. Hank and Gretchen, thank you all for the most refreshing collaborative spirit between agencies that I've seen in my entire time in government. Thank you sincerely for that. And you know, it's always easy to take for granted how blessed we are here in Middle Georgia to have two of the absolute best institutional leaders I've ever known as the presidents of Central Georgia Technical College and Middle Georgia State University. Thank you, President Allen and President Blake, for leaving your comfort zones, leading at the ground level, and making this incredible project as successful as we all know it will be. When you guys get involved in anything, failure is just not an option. From the early days when each of you so unselfishly began to develop the curriculum here and to define the amazing mission of this place, you set a standard worthy of emulation by all project teams who truly seek superlative outcomes. Thank you so much for your vision and your collaboration. I want to thank personally the then Vice Chairman of the Technical College Board, now State Representative Shaw Blackman, the audience here, for being the perfect liaison between our local community and our state government in Atlanta. Shaw, in chemical terms, you surely were the catalyst that made this wonderful new formula we celebrate here today come together. Thank you for a job well done at all multiple levels of your service to the public. Again, I'm leaving out a lot of names, but thanks to Jeff Scruggs, Jimmy Faircloth, and countless others at Central Georgia Tech and at Middle Georgia State University who so tirelessly, as Dr. Allen said here, midnights many times, dealt with the many day-to-day details of this beautiful project. And lastly, thanks in advance to all those who will work here in the future in service to our veterans and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, this truly is a testament to what can happen when people work together unselfishly with a common purpose and don't care who gets the credit. I can't think of a day I've ever been prouder to be a Georgian and to live in Houston County. Also, thanks to everyone here for the personal privilege it's been for me to share these words with you today. Wow, what a great day this is in Georgia. And even though we say it and live it here in this part of the state, it's never been truer than today that every day in Middle Georgia is Armed Forces Appreciation Day. May God forever bless this institution, this community, the great state of Georgia, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Regent Walker and Judge O'Neill. I'd now like to invite Mr. David Sear to the stage, the CEO of Parish Construction, to make a brief presentation.
Good morning. Regent Walker, Judge O'Neill, Chancellor Huckabee, Commissioner Corbin, Dr. Allen, Dr. Blake, Colonel Ross, thank you for the privilege of allowing me this time this morning. First and foremost, I want to thank each of you for trusting Parish Construction Group to be your construction manager on this project. It has been a true blessing for us. So about a month ago, I got a note from my team that said that Colonel Ross had called and asked if I wanted to speak. And I said, sure. And then about a week ago, I saw the list of speakers and I said, Colonel Ross doesn't understand. Maybe I should do a presentation. But she has given me permission to make a few remarks, and I appreciate that. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the tremendous teamwork that was on display throughout this project with GSFIC, the Board of Regents, Technical College System of Georgia, Middle Georgia State University, Central Georgia Technical College, JMA Architecture, Parish Construction Group, and I want you to hear this, and hundreds of tradesmen and tradeswomen that represent dozens of local subcontractors that actually broke a sweat on these grounds to build this building. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In my role as CEO in what has grown to be one of the biggest construction companies in Georgia, I find myself several steps removed from actual work in the field. While I love being on a job site, the duties of my role carry me to other places many times. So how does a CEO who has little involvement in the day-to-day operations of a project measure whether a project is successful? There's the traditional methods, reports from my management team that show me schedule status and cost status. There's phone calls, or more importantly, lack of phone calls from your client or the project architect. If you're not getting calls, you can rest assured things are probably going okay. But the best indicator that a project has been really successful for our team is actually getting invited to the ribbon cutting. We're always invited to the groundbreaking because it's hard for y'all to avoid us, right? We've got to build the thing, but getting invited to the ribbon cutting is a true honor. So while I received the honor of being able to speak this morning, it's my team, and I'd like to recognize them briefly, some of my team that came together to make this happen. Rodney Smith and Charlie Griffiths. Rodney's the president of Parish Construction Group, and Charlie's the executive vice president. They're both my business partners, and they have helped make Parish what it is today. Travis Miller served as the senior project manager for this project. Andy Bennett was our project superintendent. Tim O'Brien was our assistant superintendent. Wes Johnson served as our assistant project manager. And Matt Hightower, it's been a long time ago, it seems, but he did a lot of yeoman's work to get us through the pre-construction phase. So guys, I appreciate what you do, and thank you for the success that you've made this project. Before I get to the presentation, I'd like to share something with all of you about what this project has meant to Parish Construction Group. The spirit of the Georgia Veterans Education Career Resource Center, and thank you for the VECTR, made a huge impact on me personally at its very inception. The leadership of Parish Construction got together and said, why aren't we being more deliberate in bringing veterans into our company? And so I'm proud to report this morning that since we were awarded this project, we've hired 3 veterans to be part of our team. I think now we've hired veterans in the past, but it wasn't a deliberate effort. And that's what this project, the spirit of this project, has caught on and said we need to be more deliberate in that effort. I think 2 of those 3 are here today. My eyes aren't good enough to see, but I want to tell you about the 3 that we've hired. Retired Master Sergeant Ben Simmons served just over 20 years active duty in the U.S. Air Force and Georgia Air National Guard. He joined the Parish team in October 2014. We hired Ben to help our IT manager. He was kind of overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed, but he was struggling to serve 2 offices and he needed some help. Well, when I met Ben, he had no IT experience. But what Ben brings, and I think a lot of the veterans that we're seeing, they bring a character. They bring a can-do attitude. They bring that integrity. And what we do, thank God, is not rocket science. So we can teach them everything else. And Ben has started as an assistant to our IT director, and then we gave him the job of managing our fleet. We have more than 40 vehicles on the road every day. Ben manages that. And then we said, hey, while you're at it, why don't you manage our facilities? And then just recently, we said, we want you to manage our warranty services. I mean, Ben's got that can-do attitude. How can I help? How can I be part of your team? So he's earned the title, the unofficial title in our company, as Swiss Army knife. I'm not sure if that's appropriate to call an Air Force guy a Swiss Army knife, but that's his nickname in the company. Ben, thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for what you do for the Parish team. Are you, Ben, here? Stand up, Ben. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Kenny Richards served 20 years active duty in the U.S. Air Force as a pilot and in many leadership roles, too many to name. He joined the Parish team just about a month ago and has taken on the challenge of being our safety champion as our safety director. Kenny, thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for all that you do for the Parish team. Kenny, where are you? There he is in the back. Our 3rd veteran hired since we were awarded the project was scheduled to be here today. However, his job duties got in the way, and it's kind of a funny story. Lance Corporal Hayden Long served 4 years in the U.S. Marine Corps with deployments in Afghanistan, Jordan, and Okinawa. He joined the Parish team about 9 months ago and is working as an assistant superintendent, which means he's out in the field learning how to build, learning how to become a project superintendent for us. While I'm disappointed he couldn't be here this morning, I got a call from his superintendent, Brad Pope. Brad's been working for me for over 10 years. And Brad called me yesterday and said, Dave, I need a favor. Hayden can't go to that shindig tomorrow. I need him on the roof. We're trying to finish this job. And I said, so what you're telling me is Hayden, you need Hayden tomorrow more than I need Hayden tomorrow. And he said, yes. And okay. Now, Brad served in the Army Reserve 421st Airborne Division as a veteran of Desert Storm, and he said he couldn't do without Hayden. Y'all know when the Army actually admits that the Marines are an integral part of his team, something special has happened. So Hayden and Brad, thank you for your service and thank you for what you do for the parish team. And now it's my honor and privilege to make a special presentation to Colonel Ross. So this is a photo of your new facility, American flag and Georgia flag. And it's our tradition at Parish, when we top out a building, we fly the American flag and the Georgia flag in our beam raising ceremony. And then we like to present those items to our customers at the end of the job. So we hope that you'll display this proudly, and we hope that you'll think of your friends at Parish Construction every time you look at it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That concludes the grand opening ceremony. Please join us at the front of the building for the ribbon cutting and immediately afterwards inside for the reception. For those wishing to tour the building, please look for one of the VECTR team. They're in navy blue polo shirts and they'll have the VECTR pen on their lapel. Just ask them and they'll give you the detailed tour of the building. Thank you so much for attending, and y'all have a wonderful day. Yeah.